Hi everyone, and thank you for tuning into my channel where I talk about stocks, the stock market, and investing. If this sounds like something you want to get more of, subscribe down below. Alright, in today's video, I'm going to be discussing Netflix's potential from the advertising market. Of course, many of you are aware that Netflix, for the longest time, did not have any offering that allowed users to buy an ad supported version for a lower price. They changed all of that this year. They said they're going to have that lower price tier coming out sometime before the end of the year, so it's coming soon. And advertisers are looking forward to that because Netflix has over 220 million subscribers worldwide that spend a lot of time on the platform. And so advertisers are have a captive audience and they would love the opportunity to advertise to those users that are spending all of that time on Netflix platform. And here I have an example pulled up in Stranger Things. Of course, you all know is one of the most popular Netflix shows. In the season 4, generated 1.3 billion hours viewed, making it its biggest season of English TV ever. And it also ignited, the popularity of season 4 increased popularity in season 1, 2, and 3 because people like myself, I had never seen Stranger Things before, and so the season 4 was so popular, I went back and I started watching from season 1 and season 2 and season 3 and now season 4. And so I've became into a new customer that spent all of those hours watching that content. And if I was on an ad supported version, that could have been a lot of opportunities where advertisers could have shown me advertisements between my viewing experience. And so popularity and engagement is extremely positive for advertisers. It gives them more opportunities to show ads to these customers. Ultimately, what they want to do is try to get you to purchase one of their products or services. So with more chances, it increases that probability. Okay, moving on lower here, and you notice this is in Netflix's most recent shareholder letter, and it notes that according to Nielsen, the Netflix's share of US viewing time reached an all-time high of 7.7% in June versus 6.6% last year, demonstrating our ability to grow engagement as they improve our service. So people are spending more and more time on the Netflix platform, more hours, and so more opportunities for marketers to advertise to those users that are on the platform. And of course, Netflix can sell these placements and generate revenue off of this. The more time you're on the platform, the more ads it can show you. All right, going further down, here's the announcement where they said they entered into an agreement with Microsoft as the technology and sales partner to launch its ad-supported tier in early 2023. But since this update, Netflix came out with further um, scheduling and forecast saying that instead of early 2023, they actually will probably come out with it before this year is up. So they've brought that forward, brought the forecast forward from when they initially expected. And here's one area where it can help Netflix. Netflix, now they have 220 million paid households, but included in there are 100 million households that are sharing with those paying households. So, in other words, unauthorized sharers. You might know somebody that is using a Netflix account that is not paying for it, is using somebody else's, maybe their neighbor's account, maybe their brother-in-law's account, maybe their cousin's account, maybe their ex-girlfriend's account. And so there's 100 million households like this that are sharing Netflix accounts. Providing an ad supported lower cost tier can potentially monetize a greater portion of these users that are not paying for it. Arguably, the reason why these households are not paying for Netflix is because of the cost. They don't want to pay the $7.99 or $15.99 for the premium tier for access to Netflix. But what if Netflix was to say, pay us $2.99 a month and get the ad-supported tier? Now that might entice maybe not all 100 million of these households, but could it entice 5 million of them? Could it entice 8 million of them to pay $2.99 per month? If they are able to do that, not only will they generate that $2.99 per month from these viewers, but they can also generate ad revenue from these users as they engage in the platform. So that's a nice unlock that they can have with the ad-supported tier that otherwise may not have existed. And there's an article out in the Wall Street Journal, according to an internal memo at Netflix, that said in preliminary projections, Netflix told executives it expects to have 4.4 million unique viewers worldwide by the end of this year, with 1.1 million of that coming from the US. And by the third quarter of 2023, it expects to have over 40 million viewers, with 13.3 million coming from the US. Now, the users from the US are the most valued by advertisers because remember what I said earlier, advertisers are paying for the potential to influence your purchasing decisions. And folks in the US have higher purchasing power per individual comparatively worldwide. So for that reason, folks in the US generate higher advertising revenue. And I follow the social media stocks as well, Meta platforms, Snapchat, Twitter, and Pinterest, and they give you a breakdown of the advertising revenue they generate from each region. And across the board, these social media platforms generate multiples higher revenue from users in the US versus users internationally. And it's because of that factor, the fact that folks in the US have higher per capita purchasing power, and so marketers are willing to pay more to gain the access to influence the purchasing decisions of those individuals. So the fact that Netflix can have 13.3 million folks from the US that they can show advertisements to, those are premium customers for Netflix. Now, according to Statista, they project that by 2027, Netflix could get ad revenue approaching $2 billion in the US and Canada, $2 billion from Western Europe, nearly $1 billion from Asia Pacific, and $500 million from the rest of the world. So I want to say roughly $5 billion in ad revenue by 2027, which is, if to put that figure into context, Netflix in its most recent fiscal year generated $30 billion in revenue overall. So ad revenue could add $5 billion to that $30 billion, an incremental addition to that, which would be excellent. But not only that, Netflix would still be getting revenue. It's not going to be free to subscribe to the ad supported tier. Customers would still have to pay a monthly fee, whatever that is. We don't know what that's going to be yet. But Statista estimates that by 2027, the subscription side of that, Netflix can generate what this looks like 2.3, 2.6, about 2.8 billion in subscription revenue from the folks that choose the lower priced ad supported tier. All in all, it looks like the ad supported tier could generate 9 billion in revenue for Netflix. And remember, they pulled in 30 billion in revenue in 2021. So by 2027, that could be about an extra 1/3 of its revenue base can come from the ad supported tier, which is significant. That is significant. In just looking at its content budget, Netflix in 2021 spent 17.7 billion on content. So just this ad supported version, the ad-supported tier, could pay for about 50% of its content budget if that's what it chooses to spend it on. But it could be a huge deal. It could be a huge deal for Netflix. That's why investors should look out for this and follow this trend. And later this year when it comes out, investors should listen to what management has to say, what the prospects are, what their agreements have been so far with advertisers in this potentially lucrative segment of the business. All right, so that's all I have for Netflix and the ad revenue segment. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. The Motley Fool is a company that provides investing insight and stock recommendations for investors of all skill sets and risk levels. You all know how much I love researching new stocks and trying to find the next best investment. So I'm proud to partner with the Motley Fool to bring you 10 stock picks from their popular Stock Advisor. Stock Advisor has beat the market by more than 250%. Go to fool.com/Parkev to get your 10 stock picks now.